To begin the movie, we see an epigraph with a quote from the Bible. This sets the theme for the entire story. The first scene is a flashback. What we can see is the legs of a body behind a sofa on what appears to be a television studio stage, very ambiguous with some sinister details within the frame. The chimpanzee enters the screen, covered in blood on both its hands and around its mouth, then slowly turns to look towards us, the viewers. In the next scene, present day, in Agua Dulce Canyon, a family horse wrangling business starts the day tending to their horses. While they work, a news anchor can be heard speaking on the radio, reporting on a group of hikers that have mysteriously disappeared in the area. Horse wranglers O.J. Haywood and his father Otis Sr. Haywood are discussing an upcoming business opportunity where one of their horses is to be featured in a new Hollywood movie. They're hopeful of making an impression so that they can start to inject some life back into their failing family business. Otis Sr. puts pressure on O.J. to handle the occasion, otherwise their problems may worsen. On top of this, he also nags O.J. about his absent sister, who should be chipping in around the ranch, yet she is nowhere to be seen. As O.J. walks away to call his sister, his phone begins to glitch and the power suddenly dies. The power generator behind Otis Sr. also fails before sounds of distant screams reverberate from the sky. O.J. and Otis look up but see nothing unusual. As they are looking up, random objects such as keys and coins suddenly begin dropping down at devastating velocity. One object, in particular, an all-American nickel, pelts Otis Sr. in his eye, lodging all the way into his skull. Despite O.J.'s best efforts at driving Otis Sr. to the hospital, O.J. was unable to save his father's life. The injury subsequently proves fatal as Otis Sr. passes away. As the movie credits roll, we move slowly through an ominous dark tunnel until we draw to a halt. Here, we see a looping 2-second clip of a man on a galloping horse. This is a real historical video that was created in the 19th century using only a series of photographs known as the horse in motion. It's the day of the big job, and a bashful O.J. is holding his father's horse Lucky inside the film studio where they're about to start rolling. O.J. clearly isn't handling things well. The producers and talent are rude to him and ignorant of his safety protocols. Just as O.J. is about to start his demonstration, his sprightly sister arrives, positioning herself in front of O.J., saving him from the limelight. Emerald presents the family business as well as the history of the jockey video from earlier. With glitz and glamour, the jockey was in fact O.J. and Emerald's great-great-great-grandfather. Emerald still clearly dealing with the loss of her father, as she forgets to add the final great.
My great-great-grandfather. There's another great.
Once Emerald exits the stage, things quickly go awry for O.J., as a member of the production staff is kicked by Lucky after startling it with its own reflection. This consequently ends shooting for the day and angers the production team, who eventually ends the agreement with Haywood's Hollywood horses and shows them the door. O.J. has failed his father's wishes, essentially signalling the beginning of the end for the family business. And on top of that, he also has issues with his sister. They clearly don't see eye to eye, and their relationship appears strained as O.J. sighs softly while M makes plans, none of which involve the family business. O.J.'s inner conflict is evident. On one hand, he's clearly frustrated by M. He's disappointed in her for refusing to stay involved in what their ancestors have built. However, on the other hand, he is trying to respect her desire for independence. M also appears torn. We see she's a charismatic and talented individual, with dreams and aspirations, but judging from her pensive stares, she also feels guilt for not focusing on honouring her family's legacy. One thing is for certain, they're both grieving the loss of their father. Before arriving home, O.J. makes a stop at the neighbouring ranch. He visits a man named Jupe, who runs a Wild West-themed amusement park named Jupiter's Claim. O.J. plans on selling Jupe some of the family horses with the intent to buy them back once the business is making profits again. During negotiations, M surveys Jupe's office. It's decorated like a shrine of old merchandise that Jupe has collected from sets while growing up. M eventually learns that Jupe once was a child star. M's curiosity and genuine interest inspires Jupe to show them a secret room that's attached to his office. The room showcases the TV show in which he became famous, Gordy's Home. Skeptical, M asks Jupe what really happened. Jupe then tells the story of a famous freak accident involving a chimpanzee. However, he actually retells the story from the perspective of a Saturday Night Live parody, instead of reliving his own first-hand experience of it. That way, you won't have to suffer the emotional pain caused by such a traumatic event. He even lies to OJ and M too, changing certain details in the story. Once they arrive home, OJ openly tells M that he's thinking of selling the ranch to Jupe. Upon hearing this, M's body language towards OJ changes. She begins asking questions with enthusiasm because she knows how much the ranch means to him. OJ appears indifferent, but the two agree to dig out the hobbyweed and hang out at the ranch together. While the siblings brood over a photo of their late father, they make a toast to him, reminiscing about past experiences. While OJ sits reserved, it's M who opens up fully, pacing the room as she tells a story about her 9th birthday, when she was supposed to receive a horse named Jean Jacket. However, approved by her father, the horse was instead cast in the blockbuster movie The Scorpion King. After that, she says he wouldn't look at her properly, which caused her to feel alienated by him and, as a result, resented him ever since. She finds solace in the experience from OJ's brotherly compassion. As the two share a moment, they appear to start building bridges, until M looks through the window and sees one of the horses has escaped to the arena. It's Ghost. OJ goes out into the eerie night to lasso Ghost and find out how he escaped. Distant screams echo around the sky, but as OJ is looking, he is immediately interrupted by the loud music that M starts blasting out from up the hill. This startles Ghost, and he runs away down the valley. OJ drives down to search for Ghost, only to find bright lights emanating across the horizon. They're coming from Jupiter's claim. OJ hears Jupe's voice on a megaphone, introducing some kind of stage performance, but is interrupted by a power outage as his voice creepily slows to a stop. The sounds of horses' screams can be heard ringing throughout the canyon, getting progressively louder. The lights at the Haywood Ranch suddenly go out along with the music. OJ turns to glance, but is instantly aghast when he sees the moonlight reflect off what could only be described as a UFO. A shook-up OJ hurries back to the ranch and explains to M what he saw. They check the cameras, but the quality is poor and the power also cut out while the UFO was in view. M is intrigued by OJ's experience, and while the two ponder over the porch rail, M asks what he saw. Before he answers, he brings up the series of events surrounding their father's death, before explaining what he saw. This excites M, who then persuades OJ to act on this opportunity and cash in on the UFO presence. They both agree to buy new surveillance cameras. The next day, as they walk through the aisle of the electrical store, they coin a term for the possible outcome, the Oprah shot. When they reach the checkouts to pay for the cameras, they meet video shop techie Angel Torres, who is keen to know more about why they're buying the cameras. He comes across as a computer boffin, which turns OJ and M's body language cold towards Angel. Angel is curious about their plans, and even though they're unwilling to let the cat out of the bag, they nonetheless let him visit the ranch so that he can help them install the cameras, since they could potentially mess it up doing it themselves. Back at the ranch, while he's unloading the van, Angel loses his cool over his recent breakup. OJ tells Angel to look at him and not scream. This causes Angel to snap out of his self-loathing and open up about his ex's newfound fame. Despite OJ and M being unsympathetic towards him, Angel develops a liking towards them and gradually becomes more relaxed. A scheming M leads a based OJ to deal with this. Once Angel has installed the cameras and explained to OJ how they operate, he lingers at the ranch, suspecting that OJ and M are hunting a UFO. Later, M returns with a fake horse. When quizzed about where she got it, she avoids the question, instead informing them the horse is used as a decoy for training horses. This is merely an alibi, as she has no interest in the horses at the ranch. Jupe arrives at the arena and sees the three standing by the horse. Jupe shouts across the arena that he has a horse like this, to which OJ realizes that M has stolen the horse from Jupe. M handles the situation by using the alibi. Jupe seems ambivalent about the horse and invites them to his up-and-coming show at the end of the week, the Star Lasso Experience. As Angel is ready to leave Haywood's ranch, he's again hankering for the Haywoods to spill the beans on their operation, but they stand firm. After muttering insults under his breath, he offers to survey the cameras remotely for them, which they instantly reject. They do, however, promise him they'll leave a 5-star review for his service. As OJ gets back to work, he hears a sound coming from the stable barn. He tentatively walks out to check what's happening when he's suddenly faced with little space aliens. Even though he's scared, he seizes the opportunity to capture the aliens' footage on his phone. But after being rushed by them and punching one in the face, they just turn out to be duped children wearing alien costumes, playing a prank in retaliation for M stealing their decoy horse. Back at the video store, where Angel is closing up for the night, he succumbs to his temptation to find out what the Haywoods are up to. Despite them explicitly saying not to, he decides to tap into their surveillance cameras. While doing so, he notices that one of the cameras is down, which leads him to break the news to the Haywoods. While OJ is tending to another horse, a mysterious force approaches in the form of a cloud with a tornado. This causes OJ to lose control of the horse, and it runs away. Angel's desperate pleas for M to remove a praying mantis that hangs over the lens of the last remaining camera are ignored because M can see the UFO hovering inside the cloud. Hysterical, she warns OJ to run. OJ flees the open space on foot, moving towards a shelter in a nearby barn, while the threatening UFO floats calmly cloud to cloud above him. Clover continues running into open space. This exposes the UFO for the cameras to capture, although M cannot quite remove the bug from the lens. Clover is taken by the tornado, and so is the decoy horse. The UFO disappears, and so does the praying mantis. After this ordeal, M is left visibly shaken and wants to leave, but OJ is focused. He stands firm. The next day, while OJ is dreaming of better days, he sees his father, who passes on some much-needed wisdom.
Ghost out there, acting all territorial.
Although Otis Sr. is likely referring to his horse Ghost, we know OJ will apply the knowledge to this new threat. Later that day, M and OJ go to visit the famous cinematographer Antlers Holst to ask for his help in capturing the footage they seek. He remembers them fondly from the film they were fired from, but he's clearly reluctant to help. However, his curiosity is sparked when M proposes he could capture the impossible shot, as this is something Antlers longs to achieve in order to round off his successful career. But despite this prospect, ultimately he is indifferent and he ends the call. Once OJ and M are back at the ranch, Angel turns up with a major breakthrough for them. He's in shock and stares at the sky, mesmerized by something. He points at what he sees, but OJ and M are confused, seeing nothing uncanny. Angel then shows them time-lapse footage from the last few days, and it's here that they see a single cloud that has not moved an inch since the cameras were installed. M is relieved and filled with slight optimism, believing they now have the evidence they need to make their fortune. However, Angel and OJ burst her bubble, explaining to her that this is not enough proof and that there's better footage out there for audiences to enjoy. OJ then comes to realize they could actually be dealing with a single creature shaped like a UFO, rather than a flying object carrying aliens. At this point in the story, we flash back again and see the full series of events that unfolded during Dupe's fateful television studio event. As Dupe's co-stars are brutally disfigured by the chimpanzee attack, he hides under a table. Here, we learn that Dupe believes he survived simply because he was special. Yet as evidence suggests during this event, he only survives because the chimp could not see his eyes behind the hanging tablecloth. This leads Dupe into a false sense of security because we know that he'd be dead if the chimp saw him. Instead, the chimp was shot in the head before it could lift up the cloth to reveal Dupe's eyes. Back to the main plot in the story, and it's Dupe's big day of his main event, the Star Lasso experience. OJ sees the flyer of the event blowing in the wind, and after picking it up to see it's about to start, he has a hunch that something terrible is going to happen to his lucky horse, so he decides to head down.
I'm gonna get lucky.
The stage is set, and even though many seats are empty, there are still enough people to provide the exciting atmosphere that Dupe craves. He even invites his disfigured co-star from Gordy's home, whom he describes to the audience as his first love. Dupe starts the show by building the suspense, recalling an event that he calls a true spectacle, in which he is visited by a UFO that abducts one of his horses. As we know from earlier, Jupe's inability to tell a vivid story leaves much to our imagination, but it does however strongly imply that he once had many of his own horses that were all eventually taken by the UFO, hence the reason he wants to buy all of Haywood's horses. Jupe continues his story and unveils one of the Haywood's horses as a reconstruction of his horse Trigger. While working up to the climax of his story, Jupe turns to face the sky and we see he has an embroidered image of the UFO on his jacket. He intends to demonstrate how the UFO took Trigger by letting it take Lucky instead. However, while there is a short interlude from his performing children, the UFO decides to appear earlier than Jupe had planned, with those pennant flags from the decoy hanging from its hollow chamber. The UFO reveals itself to the crowd by releasing a mighty roar. This suggests it's angry and severely fed up.
We pissed him off.
Upon hearing this, Jupe interrupts the performance, informing the crowd that the UFO is ready ahead of schedule. He then opens the doors of Lucky's cage to release it for the UFO to devour. Lucky stays put, however. Clever horse. The ominous situation acts as a prelude to Jupe realizing his worst nightmare. It's happening all over again. There's about to be a massacre, but this time he won't survive it, and neither will his family nor his crowd of supporters. The menacing UFO hovers down and sucks every person up into its belly, even the children. Once everybody is collected, we see an indistinct view of what's embedded inside of the UFO, while harrowing screams are heard echoing through what could only be described as an inflatable air duct. As everybody is moved and processed, we see the decoy horse trapped in the tube with them, halting the movement, which suggests that everybody will be, in due course, crushed together like a meat grinder. OJ arrives late to the party, narrowly avoiding the massacre that literally just unfolded. OJ attempts to lure Lucky back, but the UFO sees him. While carrying the sounds of all those screaming people, it hovers down and tries to suck OJ up. However, it fails and OJ is knocked out by the near miss. Once OJ regains consciousness, he knows Em and Angel are in trouble, so he retreats back to the ranch, calling Em to warn her. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Angel says goodbye to Em and begins driving home. As he is driving, his car begins to lose power, signaling the approach of the UFO. As OJ explains to Em on the phone what he saw, the power goes out on the ranch. OJ drives faster. Em hears the echoing sound of blood-curdling screams as it begins to rain infinite daggers. Angel runs and manages to make it back to the house, grabbing a knife before positioning himself under the kitchen table. The screeching becomes louder and more hysterical until it stops abruptly. This signals an instant death to all those innocent captives. After some metal churning sound effects, the rain stops and random objects begin falling onto the house. It starts to rain again, changing from God's tears to nature's blood. The rain then turns back to water before stopping altogether. OJ arrives back at the ranch, but the decoy is dropped onto his car, smashing through the vehicle's windscreen. Looks like the UFO has finally purged that decoy blockage. As the electricity starts to turn on again and daylight begins to break, OJ realizes they aren't out of the woods yet, and the UFO may be lurking somewhere, biding its time, waiting for the trio to exit the house, like a predator hunting its prey. OJ starts to usher Angel and Em into Angel's van, but the UFO spots them. In this moment, OJ remembers that animals don't like to look into other animals' eyes. Therefore, he averts them and looks down instead. This works, and OJ has his theories validated. Finally, the trio are able to escape the valley. Angel lets the Haywoods stay at his place, and while Em and Angel play on his VR headset, OJ silently contemplates his learnings. Later, while the three are eating out, OJ breaks his silence with the revelation,
I don't think it eats you if you don't look it in the eye.
Nobody want to talk about that.
Em is scared and thinks OJ is being reckless by wanting to go back to the ranch, but he has to in order to take care of the horses. Elsewhere, while reviewing footage of predators catching prey, Antler's host hears the news about the missing people from Jupe's ranch. He believes the speculation about their whereabouts doesn't add up, so decides to help the Haywoods in their mission. Antlers doesn't know what he's getting himself into, and although the survival stakes have risen, he craves this impossible shot. The three now become a four, and as they start devising a plan to capture the impossible Oprah shot, OJ suggests that you have to enter an agreement with the predator.
How exactly do you enter an agreement with a UFO alien entity or whatever the hell you want to call him?
Jean Jacket. Call him Jean Jacket.
OJ names the UFO Jean Jacket as a homage to his father's favourite horse, the one that was early denied to Emerald. OJ says he'll draw out Jean Jacket in order for Antlers to capture the shot using his analog camera. OJ will use his understanding of how to be around a predator in order to survive. And to top off this dangerous plan, they'll also be under pressure to be the first ones to capture the footage, as word is spreading fast about the potential. The elaborate plan takes shape, and dancers are created to work as a way to alert the team of Jean Jacket's whereabouts. As soon as a dancer drops, they know Jean Jacket is approaching. OJ chooses his war paint in the form of his father's hoodie, taken from the production of their biggest job working on the Scorpion King. Antlers and Angel work the cameras on the hill, while M holds the fort at the ranch. OJ begins his march into the breach, riding his lucky horse. However, an ambitious journalist quickly arrives on the scene, riding an electric motorcycle, kitted out like Daft Punk with cameras. The journalist's trying his luck at piecing together the story and capturing the impossible shot. After he ignores M's desperate attempts at warning him of the danger, he drives down the valley. This grabs the attention of Jean Jacket, who immediately targets the journalist. Because the journalist is driving an electric motorcycle, he's thrown dramatically from the bike as it speeds through the field of falling dancers. He is badly injured from the fall but still reaches for his cameras. In an attempt to save his life, OJ tries to help him up, but this man is far too concerned about picking up his cameras again. Jean Jacket approaches, and as OJ avoids looking up at it, the journalist is not as wise and is mesmerized by what he sees. This proves fatal, as it gets him sucked into the meat grinder that is Jean Jacket's belly. Meanwhile, on the hill, Angel clambers to replace the film reel for Antler's analog camera, which means they've failed to capture Jean Jacket clearly. OJ takes off and rides back up to the ranch again, avoiding Jean Jacket's tornado of doom. While averting his eyes, he releases a parachute line of pennant flags from the decoy in order to repel an attack. Jean Jacket's terrified of the sight of those troublesome flags, so the plan works. OJ narrowly avoids the tornado by jumping harshly through the doorway of an old barn, which is then surrounded entirely by the tornado. Antler's disappointment at missing this event drives him to venture further up to the top of the hill. Although this means he will be exposed to Jean Jacket, he doesn't care because he wants to capture his magnum opus, the impossible dream. This obviously draws out Jean Jacket and it sucks Antlers up through the tornado, signalling Antler's self-sacrifice for his art. The film reel from Antler's camera is also ruined. Jean Jacket then turns its attention to Angel, who is saved by sheer luck, but Jean Jacket doesn't know this and continues its sequence of attacks by going after M at the ranch. M, however, is able to avoid being caught. OJ sees M still standing and yells at her to grab the motorcycle and leave. Meanwhile, Jean Jacket morphs into a beautiful silky Stetson in the sky. Once it's finished morphing, it goes after M, who struggles to lift the bike up off the ground. But thanks to her weightlifting, M is able to lift the bike, and after her loving brother's signal of encouragement, she's able to begin driving away from the ranch in order to escape. OJ then has a Mexican standoff with Jean Jacket in order to draw it away from M, so that her bike has the electrical power needed to start the engine. Jean Jacket loses this standoff with OJ because it diverts its attention back to M, who is already making her way down to Jupe's ranch. When she arrives, M begins executing the final part of the plan, where a giant inflatable cowboy is released into the sky, acting as another decoy to attract Jean Jacket. While Jean Jacket contemplates swallowing the big inflatable cowboy, M is able to capture Jean Jacket in a series of images from the Winking Well, in a similar way to that of her great-great-great-grandfather's cinematographer. Jean Jacket swallows the cowboy, and M is able to complete the sequence of images from the Winking Well. But the alien is still loose, so to put the cherry on top of the plan, the giant inflatable cowboy decoy explodes inside of Jean Jacket, killing it once and for all. The Haywoods finally got their Oprah shot and killed the alien at the same time. Talk about killing two birds with one stone. Totally exhausted, M collects the photographic slides dispensed from the Winking Well camera to view her masterpiece. Just as the authorities and media trucks are beginning to pull up, great timing. M closes her eyes and wishes to see her brother again, and lo and behold, there is OJ peering through the smoke. The Haywoods have made their dream a reality together and come full circle, right back to the days of their great-great-grandfather.
Hasta la vista, adios.
Thanks for watching this recap of Nope. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment, and if you'd like to see more recaps, then please subscribe. And to make sure you never miss a video, click that little bell so you'll instantly be notified of new videos. See you next time, and keep your eyes peeled for any strange clouds.